Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Rose Smith from Absolute Soul Secrets. Thanks for joining me for the lovely Libra 2023 horoscope. Well, what a year we're all going to have. You know, things are looking upwards. It's going to start trending upwards. Yeah, I know it's not a walk in the park and it's a bit uphill and down dale, but we do have a couple of influences that are very hopeful for humanity. So I will go through those. I like to also draw two tarot cards as theme cards for the year for you. So let's get rocking. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look at these cards first, because the cards often work in with the horoscope quite amazingly. So that's what we're going to do. So two cards for the first and the second half of 2023. What do I see? I'm out in space. It's like I can see the zodiac wheel out in space in the sky, which is quite interesting. Never seen that before. Okay, maybe it's saying that there's I think it's just saying humanity, spirituality. There's a lot of glitter coming through, gold and silver glitter. That's going all around the zodiac that I can see. So this is saying high vibrational male and female energy together, okay, which is beautiful. It's quite a beautiful sight. Let's see what card comes up. Okay, the Page of Pentacles. So this is probably about your personal financial situation. Sometimes it is about the things that you believe in, what you value in life, and other times it can be about your possessions. But you do have a bit of stuff going on here in your second house of personal finances, and a lot of stuff going on here in your 8th house, which is joint resources, money, or assets that you share with somebody else, maybe a human, maybe a corporation, or maybe even a government. So it could be something like tax or loans, but yeah, I'll come to that in a moment. So that could be money could be a bit of a focus for you, Libra, early in the first half of the year. Not early, but throughout the first half of the year. And there's messages coming from that. There's communications about it. There's things going on that you don't know about, but there's other things that you do know about, and you're going to take action about it. And I feel like there's been a few other things coming up about Libra. It's likely that even though there could be a shake-up there with this lunar eclipse, it's likely that you could make more money in 2023. Okay, I just got that bit of a vibe there. Let's have a look and see what goes on in the second house. Okay, I'm on the ocean. Yeah, it's a bit turbulent. I've got a very old salty sea captain here at the helm. You know, the big wheel that they spin. I've forgotten what the ship's wheel. You know, they just call it the wheel to steer the ship, and that's what he's doing. This guy, he's been on the ocean for all his life. He knows exactly what he's doing and how to ride these turbulent waves. So even though initially it might look a bit off-putting or turbulent, he can handle it. There's no problem there. Okay, so let's see what card we get for that. Okay. Here's the fish's mouth. Okay, this is to do with other people. Some of this turbulence, these can be people that you work with. Sometimes they're people that you socialise with as well. Normally you wouldn't think that you were working with them. The Three of Cups is more about the emotions, but I just get that sense. Okay, it could be something that you're all going through. There's a real spiritual connection with you. But you're three different people, and you've got different ways of handling the situation, okay? And that's all right. It's likely to turn out in the end, even if you don't agree, that's okay. It's likely to be some sort of bountiful or prosperous solution that comes about as a result, but you have this spiritual connection together, so that's fabulous. second half of the year. 3 of Cups, working with others for mutual benefit, I'll call that. All right, so let's have a look now at your horoscope, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that you can see, because there is so much information here. All right, now the first thing to note is that we have a lot of retrograding planets and the nodes at the beginning of the year, and all retrograde, so it's like the year starts off slowly, but gradually through January the energy is coming back online as the planets turn direct. And I'm talking particularly about Mercury retrograde until the 18th, Mars retrograde until the 12th, and Uranus retrograde until the 23rd. Now Uranus is a transpersonal planet in the background, okay, but after it turns direct, gradually there's more Uranian energy going to come through. You may become more aware of your spiritual side, your past lives, anything to do with rebelliousness. You might feel your own rebelliousness or volatility, and there could be some surprising outcomes, particularly to do with joint resources, the things that you share. There is a lot going on. There's a bit of a shake-up here in this house. And you could be changing the way you do things, the way that you share with people, okay, whether that be money or your time, your taxes, your loans, your superannuation or 401k. But yeah, I'll talk more about that in a moment when we get to going through all of those planets. The other thing to note starting the year, and the start of the year is important. It sets down like a template. See this small little, it's supposed to be a triangle, but yeah, it didn't quite make it. But yeah, it's a triangle between Neptune, Mercury and Saturn. It's called the eagle eye pattern because it's about insight and awareness, particularly to do with your creativity, or perhaps your romance, or perhaps leisure and pleasure, the way that you have fun. And Saturn's been here for the last couple of years, and it probably hasn't been fun. It's probably been more about work, responsibilities. It feels like a bit of a burden. But Saturn's moving on the 7th of March. So your creativity and romance and fun life might take a deep breath and just a sigh of relief, okay? So that will be really helpful. Okay, so let's have a look now. We've got Jupiter and Chiron in Aries, and it's here, but it's going to catch up to Chiron, okay, because Chiron's 11 and Jupiter's 1 degree, and Jupiter goes faster than Chiron. So it's going to catch Chiron from the 24th of February until the 5th of March. And it'll be in this house of committed relationships, those really significant relationships, whether they be business or personal, or perhaps somebody that you have a contract with, or maybe even a legality. There could be some sort of kerfuffle or something happens, and it may or may not be pleasant at first, but the important thing to note is that there's a healing that's coming out of this. So it's going to work out ultimately beneficial for you. Some part of your significant relationships could be resolved or healed, something that you haven't been able to sort for a fair while. So that's really good news. Saturn moves into Pisces on the 7th of March to the 24th of May 2025. Okay, so 2 years and 2 months. In Pisces, here it's going to affect your normal everyday work. It's going to affect your health, your well-being, and what you do, your normal routine. Now, Saturn implies limitation and restriction, but sometimes these are self-imposed. So you might decide that you're going to go for a walk at 7 a.m. Every morning, and Saturn would really appreciate you scheduling that in your diary, because Saturn is involved with time, with Father Time. So your work, it could be limiting, but if you put systems around all your processes, your work processes, your habits, and what you do on a daily basis, Saturn's going to smile on you. And that structure that you put in will actually help you, and then help your health, in fact. Okay, that can include things like what you eat as well. Maybe you say, oh, I'm going to eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables, even though I don't like broccoli, or I don't like cabbage or something. I've got to put that nice vinegar in it, pomegranate vinegar. If you can get that from Aldi, try it. It's fabulous. The cherry is another one, cherry vinegar from Aldi. That's fabulous. And so you put that on your cabbage, and all of a sudden it's edible. Putting the structures in. So you're thinking logically, you're waiting for that Aldi catalogue to come out for Wednesdays and Saturdays, and Saturn would like that very much. Okay, so Pluto into Aquarius from the 23rd of March to the 11th of June, giving you a bit of a taster. Okay, I hadn't drawn it in there. Should have drawn it in there like that. So it's here at the moment in your 4th house, and it's going to move into your 5th house for 3 months. Then it's going to move back into your 4th house of home and family until the 31st of January 2024. And then after that date, it will go into your 5th house for the next 20 years. This is amazing, because it's going to bring a whole lot of other world energy to your creativity, your romance, and the way that you have fun in the sun. Your leisure and pleasure would be very interesting to go back through your family and have a look and see what they did for fun. If they had fun, maybe they were too busy working, trying to stay alive. Maybe they didn't have any fun at all, and you've inherited that burden of thinking you must go through life without any fun, or substitute the word romance. Maybe they were so busy staying alive because they were in Ireland during the potato famine, for example. They didn't have fun, they didn't have romance, there was no energy for creativity. And did you inherit that? That's a question to ask yourself. Pluto can give you the answer, because Pluto exists, the energies from Pluto are transpersonal, and it exists across past lives and ancestral memories, and all the way back to the beginning of humankind here on this planet, and even back before that, even before we got here. So you can learn a lot from Pluto in that time over the next 20 years, from 2024 to 2044. Then we have Jupiter going into Taurus up here, and I didn't write that one in either, because what happens is I start doing it and something happens and I get sidetracked. Jupiter in Taurus, growing your shared resources. Have you been thinking about making an investment? Okay. Maybe you want to get a loan for a house or something like that. Make sure you check about the interest rates, because they will still be going up in 2023. But it's things that you share with another person, a company, or the government, and there's some sort of increase there. And it could be also intimacy. Maybe you might think there's not enough intimacy in your relationships. You want to grow that part of the relationship, so you might embark on some sort of plan or idea on how to do that. Now, to let you know that Venus is retrograde from the 22nd of July to the 3rd of September in Leo, so up here. And this is in your house of friends, groups and connections, and also hopes and dreams. So even though you might have very good friends and you love your friends, you may not see them for a while, or things may go a little bit quiet during this period. Maybe you're just busy, or they're busy, something happens. It doesn't mean you're not friends anymore. It just means that things are quiet on the friendship front. Maybe you're not going out as much. Maybe you're not attending groups as much. You might communicate by text rather than seeing them or talking to them or something like that. While it's retrograde, it's not ideal for meeting people if you want a sort of romantic type life. It's not the best, and usually when a planet's retrograde, when it turns direct, the situation changes. And then you're not interested in them, or they're not interested in you. There's something different, because it's Venus retrograde too. You might hear knowledge from friends or news from friends about previous lovers or things like that as well. Now, eclipses, we have 4 in 2023, and that is quite usual. Nothing unusual about that. First one's the 20th of April in Aries here, bringing a new start to your important relationships, your committed relationships, whether they're business or personal. They could be rejuvenated somehow. If you're in a committed relationship and you're still relatively young, you might have a baby, for example. There's a strengthening or a deepening of the relationship around that date, give or take a few months. It can also be a new start in legalities, or it's not really a negative sort of feeling. If you have a current legality, that it goes on to a new phase. So I wouldn't be worried that it means that you're going to have some legal issues at all. Then we have, 6th of May, a lunar eclipse in Scorpio here. Okay, now this is likely, I was talking about your money before, this is likely to really be some sort of shake-up or transformation around your personal finances. And at some point, I didn't write down the degrees, what a shame, but the moon will be at some point conjunct your south node, which is your experience, how you've dealt with money in the past. Okay, so I'm thinking that you're going to have to find a new way of dealing with your money. Whether, if you tithe, are you donating, how do you, maybe you need to pay more attention, maybe you're not organised with your money, maybe you'll be thinking about investments, because the reason I say that is because of all this energy over here, which is the house of investment, and it's also the house where, even if it's your money, you may invest in a company and tie your money up for 12 months or 2 years or something like that. Then we have a solar eclipse in Libra in your sign here. So a solar eclipse here brings a whole new beginning to the way you present yourself to the world, how you approach the world, the perceptions that people have when they meet you or they see you. You could also change your appearance or identity, or to make it more in keeping with your inner spiritual reality, and you might change your core beliefs in some way. But I see solar eclipses as being sort of less painful than the lunar eclipses, perhaps. The lunar eclipses can be turbulent because it doesn't mean that there's anything much happening in the outside world, but it's all internal, and then you've got to carry that weight of all those emotions. Whereas with the solar eclipse, it's about directing energy outwards, and you take some physical action around it, so maybe you don't feel as out of control because you can do something about it. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's negative. There's a lunar eclipse in Taurus on the 28th of October as well, up here, giving all your investments a shake up. So make sure with all of this, if you are doing any investments or anything to do with money, that you don't take unnecessary risks. Although I'm sure there's a lot of opportunities for making money in 2023, it really is a case of you have to do a lot of research, and there's a certain degree of luck. And I think you should only invest in risky things if you can afford to lose the money, and you want to treat it like play money. And if you lose, you'll just say, oh, well, bad luck. But yeah, please don't go, be very careful with cryptocurrencies. I haven't got any money in crypto at all. And so far, that decision I made about 3 years ago or 4 years ago when I looked at it, I can't seem to change it. It's been such a valuable decision because was sort of tempted, but there's nothing backing it up. There's no store of gold. There used to be a store of gold with cash. Even that doesn't exist so much now. Anyway, it's not an economics lesson, but please be careful with all of those assets that you share with other people. And finally, Mercury retrograde 4 times this year, which is normal, up until the 18th. Again, the 21st of April in Taurus, bringing real physical ramifications to your communications and your ideas. Sometimes there's misunderstandings with Mercury retrograde, so get everything in writing. And Taurus again here, some sort of slowdown or miscommunication about the things that you share with other people. So watch that. The 23rd of August in Virgo, all of Mercury retrogrades are in earth signs. So in Virgo, it will be here in your 12th house. Maybe your dreams slow down, or it's hard to pick up messages from your subconscious. If you're a psychic, maybe, or a clairvoyant, maybe you don't see the pictures as easily during this time. Then again, 12th of the 12th in Capricorn and Sagittarius. And so with that, Capricorn here in your 4th house, miscommunications, problems with technology around the home, okay, that could possibly mean, or